Hello everyone, this is Steve with the Free Bullion Investment Guide. Today is July 24th, and I'm doing a silver price update from my weekend video because I left you with a silver chart that had no patterns in it. It had risen up in price, and I just simply told you what I do in my own situation is I just take a step back to see what the price is going to do before I start stating anything that or thinking anything is going to happen. Really, when the price moves so erratic and so quickly, really all you can do is step back. Unless you're trading it, then you look at when it really moves like silver did last week, it really moved like Bitcoin. You got to look at the smaller time frame charts to really try to get an idea of how silver is moving. And we will go into those smaller time frame charts here in a second. But what I found is two negative charts. This is a rising wedge, and this larger one is a rising expanding wedge. The rising expanding wedge is really just a preliminary chart for right now, pattern for right now. I'm really not comfortable with it, simply because I think with silver's latest move that it will likely not come back down to this price level of 1535 simply because of the way it moved. Now, we could have a trade deal happen which would tank gold and silver, because it would it'd bring more certainty into the market that really the markets would rise. And also, if the Fed doesn't raise rates, we could see silver come back down and flirt with these levels. But that is still uncertainty that is in the market, so that's another reason for gold and silver to go higher, or at least to stay up in these elevated zones right now. But again, we'll have to see what happens in the future. Now, as far as, let's move to the 1 hour chart. I'm still really seeing, I can pick out other negative patterns in the 1 hour chart even if I wanted to. You can find another rising wedge right here, and that one will likely be broken to the downside sometime in the near future. As to when, I don't know that. It's a 1 hour chart, so I would say pretty soon, maybe even before I get done this video, but I really don't know. It looks like it's starting to come down right now. But if we move on to the 15-minute chart, we can start to see that move down. But again, this rising wedge that I showed you with the 4 hour chart, it could be broken tomorrow, it could be broken in 2 days, but the larger rising expanding wedge I found on the daily chart at first. So it could be days ahead, could be weeks ahead, to be completely honest with you. If you've followed my analysis in the past, you know that these larger patterns can stay in the price charts for months. And what I try to do when I find them is to find other smaller patterns within the chart, within the pattern, within the larger pattern, just to give you a better idea of what we can expect out of the price. So I actually expect the price to come down. I had 1660 as resistance in last week's video. On the weekend, I think it was dated on Saturday, so whatever Saturday's date was. Let me take a quick look here. The 20th. So you can look at my last video, and I had 1660 as resistance. It has been holding at resistance, but it could easily break above it. But I'm expecting silver to break this smaller pattern within the next hour or two, and then on this 4 hour chart pattern, the rising wedge, I expect it to break within a few days at most. And then the larger one, I haven't decided if I'm going to keep yet, simply because as long as there's uncertainty in the market, gold and silver will continue to rise. We'll have to see what happens in the market. So that's my update. I thank you for your time. Take care, and God bless.